You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of a shitty cold open.
We'll figure out a cold open. Like
You can't do a cold open after you're ready to record.
Well, yeah, that is true. Well, at the
Has to
same
do
time,
with
like
shit
that's
all
the
the
only way you
time.
catch a cold open, right? Is because you're recording
This is
while
what
you're
I-
talking.
It's only
That's
weird
the only
that-
time you can
No,
catch a
this
cold
is-
open. That's what a cold open
But
is.
it's weird because
This is
Chuck's
what I
right
ha-
here.
This is what I have to this is
Usually,
what I
like
have to
the
deal
cold
with.
opens are like easier when Chuck's behind like
This
the
is what I have to deal with.
production table.
That is true because he tells us when to shut up and start.
Did you move the microphone closer to your face?
Yeah, I did.
This is a fucking travesty of an episode.
All right, you ready?
Sorry, I'm gonna
I-
fuck up the levels really
I am
bad.
muting Mark's levels.
You can try. You cannot mute this voice, baby. Oh.
You ready? All right.
You cannot mute this voice, baby.
Can I move this voice, baby?
Baby.
Welcome to the Three in the Key podcast for dudes that love basketball and love talking about it. I'm your host, Alan Mark. To the left here is my friend Mark.
Hey.
All right, and then to my right, actually not behind the production table, is Chuck.
How's it going, Alan Mark? I am gonna talk way more than Mark is ever gonna talk. I'm done now, though.
That's a lie.
I'm good. Thank you for asking me how I am.
Nobody cares.
Even though you kept talking.
Nobody cares.
Everyone knows how well you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, so you said how you were. Mark, how are you doing this weekend?
Fine.
All right, that's good.
How are you doing, Alan Mark?
I'm not bad.
Nobody
Thank you
cares,
for
Alan Mark.
asking.
I
Nobody
care.
cares.
Our listeners and viewers care.
Oh, I hope we have listeners at this point.
We definitely have at least one.
Thank
Me. I have to listen to this.
Yes, listen to this while
I
you
have to
edit
listen.
it.
I have to edit it. and
Yes.
listen to it, so.
viewers.
Yeah, no one wants to watch a 40
I realize that
YouTube
you guys
video.
like sit really close to the table, so I'm gonna do that too.
That's how we always sit.
As opposed to what? Sitting farther from the table so you have to
Yes.
reach your head over like
Yeah.
like an ostrich?
Just relax.
I thought you said a different word. All right.
What
so,
word was I going to say?
Nothing.
Tell me what's in my mind, Alan.
all right. So in this episode,
Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Look at me when during.
Look at me while this camera's in front of my face. All right. So in this episode, I think we wanted to.
cold open right there.
We already had the cold open. I already did the introduction. Do you not know how cold opens work?
This is gonna be the best podcast.
It's the greatest episode of
The
Three in the
greatest
Key
episode.
ever. So I thank you so much for staying with us.
Started again.
So okay, apparently it's already a late Saturday while we're doing this. So
Yeah.
It is.
while I look at my non-existent watch on my wrist,
Why would you even do that? All right, fair. Okay.
So I think I wanted to do in this episode just a nice little introduction why we're doing Three in the Key, which is a basketball podcast. So why not kind of introduce ourselves, like why we're kind of NBA fans, so you could get to know us a little bit and see why we talk the way we do during these podcasts. So who wants to hit it off first? Do their little story.
I think the host should hit it off.
The
first.
host. Oh,
I
that's me.
agree with the host.
That is
I mean, I agree with the co-host.
that
the
would
host
be
should do
me.
it.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's right. I am a co-host.
You are the co-host.
I always
So-
forget.
Yeah, you are half of this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, the other half of this podcast will start off. So, yes, I'm Alden Mark. So, I kind of get introduced to basketball thanks to my dad. My dad loved basketball when he was young, being like this kid from the Philippines, and the Philippines is already like a very like basketball centric country.
Why is the Philippines like super basketball
How,
centric? Like I've always wondered that. Like why is there a Filipino basketball association?
Yeah,
why
why is basketball the number one like sport in the Philippines?
There
I
are
could tell you
barely-
why, but you're not gonna like the answer.
there are barely
Oh, well, I don't know if I should ask you that.
Don't.
Well, basketball is the number one sport in the Philippines. I'm not going to ask Mark why, But then my dad got into it because, it's very popular. I think he even played it when he was in high school. And he loved watching the teams there. So I guess when he finally moved to the States, after all that time working overseas, that love for basketball stayed. And then once he raised 2 kids, me and my sister, I guess just over time, we would just watch basketball together. The Warriors were always kind of our team, but we very much watched the entire league. I remember going on trips, watching watching those early 2000s Lakers teams do things, and those Chris Webber Kings play those playoff games, and that's when my family and I really started really watching basketball. And then when it came to finally choosing a fandom, I didn't even remember this until my cousin told me recently. It was there's one day when we decided to we should choose a team, let's follow one team. And then at that time, it was still early 2000s, so the Kings were still good. So we're no, let's not choose a good team, let's choose a bad team. So locally, the Warriors
How
were still...
low is your self-esteem?
No, I think we just didn't want to go with the trends.
Okay.
We wanted to go with someone that's under the radar,
as we wear Warrior gear right now.
Yes.
Okay.
So I became that's when I really solidified my Warriors fandom pretty young. It was early 2000s. So I was in my early teens then. So that's how I became a Warrior fan. So throughout high school, followed them until they finally made the playoffs, we believe. That strengthened it even more. And then once, that was 2007, graduated from high school. And then once I got into college, I had more time to actually follow the team. And then that's when I really loved basketball, learned to follow not just the Warriors, but even look at other teams, watch them more, look at stats, pay attention more to actual players, not just the team. And then that eventually led me to where I am now, where I'm very much I follow all these basketball bloggers and writers on Twitter just to keep up with the news cycles and where the articles are going. That's kind of molded me to how I am now as a basketball fan.
I want to know how you made basketball kind of the super integral part of your life, because if I could name anybody that I know that loves basketball, that knows way too much about basketball, it's you.
Yeah, it's not just knowing a lot about basketball, it's knowing too much.
And I want to
you shouldn't be knowing too much. It starts to become a hindrance in your everyday life.
Is it a hindrance?
It's not a hindrance. Don't listen to Mark. It's not a hindrance. It's more he's figured out what he's really passionate about. For me, it's video games. I revolve myself. I follow all the news that comes out, all the
well,
buzz.
You also work for...
That's true. Yeah.
Dude, you work for a video.
You
it
work
kind
in
of
the
isn't. You followed the program though. You played video games as a kid. You played video games as a young adult. Then you started to work for the video game industry, and you continued to play video games.
That's what I'm saying. I turned my passion of video games into something I could turn into a career or something like that. Yeah. So for me.
So why basketball?
Yeah. So I'm wondering basketball for you. How did you kind of get that same sort of fandom as I do with video games.
Yeah, got you. I think when I was younger, say middle schoolish, I was kind of I was a smart kid. I'm not smart. I wouldn't call myself a smart kid anymore. But then I was good academically, but I wanted to do something. I wanted to know something just outside of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, in junior high, I played basketball. I was very bad at it because I'm very unathletic.
You're very bad at it now.
I'm still bad at it, but at least
you tried.
Junior high school
effort.
Me, if you saw me, I was
E for
I'd be
effort.
Did you panic every time you went to the free throw line?
I only went to the free throw line once. That's how bad it was.
Is it because they never got you the damn ball?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But then but still watching basketball at that age, I learned to look my favorite players were Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, and Reggie Miller.
Those are good.
Those are my favorite players at the time. I like shooters.
That's
I really like shooters. Yeah. So I think that kind of makes sense because Stephen Curry is my favorite player now. Not just because I'm a Warriors fan, but just because it's such an aesthetically pleasing game, especially with the shooting.
I got a question.
Yes.
The fact that you like Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, is it because you can relate to their skill set?
I think so. Yeah. Like I was never a good ball handler because I was always like really small. Okay. So I guess I was
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was really small, but then like I wasn't like I didn't have the dexterity for like good ball handling. So I guess like more like Steve Kerr, who's like a small guard, but then mostly just shot. That's kind of like the game I wanted to emulate at that young age. So that's why I gravitated towards more shooting, like people that moved off the ball and like try to find like their shots that way. And then Allen Iverson, like everyone was just an Allen Iverson fan back then, back in like 2001.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like how I kind of got there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's basically, that's how I learned to love it. And then I don't know, now like saying like how you're asking like why, like out of like everything, like why basketball is the thing I love. Like after college, actually no, it was like my 4th year of college. I realized like oh man, I love basketball like this much, and then like that's when I felt like, oh, I could like writing about basketball is the thing that people do, like why can't I do that? I mean, I haven't really done it since then, just because I always found myself busy with other things. But that's kind of when it kind of clicked and be like if I just learn more about this this beautiful thing that I love, then why not kind of like, find some way to do that as I get older, as like not necessarily a career, but then just like as a skill to learn, like writing about basketball. And that's why I try to like learn things. Plus just how the way I am, whenever I'm like really like passionate about something, I try to learn as much of it as possible. Okay. That's just the way I am.
I'll go really quickly because I feel like, Mark, you got a really big history to also unfold. But I'm just going to say really quickly that I kind of relate a lot with Alan Mark. A lot of my love of basketball has come from my dad. My dad is also from the Philippines and played basketball in college. He apparently won a championship. Like, I don't know what they call it. I don't know what they call it there, state or province.
The San Miguel Beer Championship.
The San Miguel Tanduay.
Everything in the Philippines is like sponsored.
Yeah, it's sponsored by
Ovaltine, Milo.
He probably
sponsorship.
He won the MacBook Championship.
The Red Horse College Basketball Championship.
The SM Mega Mall Championship, something like that. But yeah, he still rocks his T-shirt that he won, and like, cool. And so like,
is he still holding on to like his glory days?
I think so.
Is that his peak?
Yeah, a lot of his friends from college are from his like basketball team and cool. Everything. So I grew up. He grew up loving the Lakers. He grew up moving to LA, living there for a bit. Then I was born, and then basically continuing to love the Lakers even when he moved to the Bay Area and stuff. And so that's kind of like my love of basketball. My dad never taught me how to shoot a basketball. Like I had to learn on my own. Mm-hmm. He never really pushed me to play basketball, so I had to find my love of basketball by myself.
Did you play basketball for your school? Or
I never played.
Always for fun.
Always for fun. I would always be during like recess or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like I would never play in like.
Play like 21 with your classmates.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah, something that I never went to. So I went to Catholic middle school, and I never joined a CYO like group or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I would always watch my dad. He would always cheer, and it was the highlight. The moment where I kind of started making basketball more of a thing in my life was the Kobe and Shaq days. That three-peat. That it was really that moment where I kind of realized like, oh, okay, this is a really amazing, fun, exciting sport. My dad is really into it. I should probably. Because I always seek the attention of my dad. He never gives me any love. I'm just kidding, Dad. I love you. I just wanted to pretend.
He doesn't love you.
My dad doesn't love me.
He likes you.
He likes me only.
He's okay with you, but if he saw you at a party,
I will never be the son that he wanted.
You will never be Kobe.
I will never be Kobe.
You'll never be prime number 8 Kobe.
I know. I'll never.
You'll always be,
that's right.
You'll always be.
I'll always be 24.
You'll always be post Achilles injury 24 Kobe.
Man, dude, you're really going far with the Kobe thing. Like low totem pole Kobe.
Brent's deep.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's okay. He's a Lakers fan.
I know.
We bragging him for being a Lakers fan all the time.
Ignore this. I'm only wearing it for today because of the game they played against the...
Which was amazing,
We're filming this on a Saturday, so they just played the Thunder.
They just
I'm not wearing anything else.
That was a good game.
Warriors, so just the hat.
Take a break.
We can keep going.
Oh, okay.
I'll just end my thing and then we'll...
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say, like, out of all the sports that are really mainstream in the US of A, I love basketball the most. It tends to bring out the best stars, like the best celebrities, the best like personas, and like it's a lot easier to follow the sport. There's not like tons and tons of players. You're not keeping track of there's less people on the team, so you don't have to worry as much as far as
it is easier to follow. Yeah.
And it's just a simpler sport. I think it's the most engaging in my mind of all the sports, because like you take football, what was the study? Like you're only watching like 20 minutes of actual game time. The rest are like commercials or something like that.
There's more flow to actual basketball.
Exactly. Like
actually, you can the amount I believe was lower than that.
Oh yeah, lower than like 15 or something like
15, that. I think 15 minutes of actual game time.
Baseball is a leisure sport. You're not really supposed to be actively engaged. You kind of just like wait for the pitch, see if it hits. If it's not, you go back to your bud or your hot dog or something like that. But basketball, you have to be paying attention because you're gonna miss something if you don't watch it. And that's why like basketball is super exciting to me, and like I'm never bored when I watch basketball.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's why I love basketball.
Do you mind taking a break before we get to your part?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, just because it's already closing to 20 minutes. All right. We'll take a quick break now, and then we'll get to Mark's story about why he loves basketball.
It's not that great, but I hope you guys laugh at it.
Well, we're gonna laugh for you.
It's because it was really long arms.
All right, see you in a bit.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out the show. Great thing about the Gallant is that it hosts way more other types of shows for your liking, like Shit for Chat. Life is one crazy adventure, and for these two guys, their journey only gets harder as they go through it without any clue what to do. Join Chuck and Dan every week as they figure out how to live in this strange world. They reflect on their past, live in the moment, and look forward to what's up ahead. Knowing them, though, it'll probably be just lots and lots of cheeseburgers. Catch new episodes every Wednesday right here on The Gallant.
Welcome back. So we're here talking about, being a basketball podcast, kind of why, the three of us really enjoy the sport of basketball. And then, yes, Kobe, as you would say.
I missed the basket.
You missed very wide.
Yeah.
So on to co-host Mark. So yeah. So what got you into the game of basketball?
Actually, I came into the game of basketball relatively late in my life. It was more an acquired taste for me.
Because weren't you a football fan first? Or?
I was actually like lifelong football fan first. So I'm gonna start off by saying this: like, I love my Warriors. I love them to death. But it was something that I played basketball and I never really watched like the professional ranks or the college ranks. I didn't watch basketball because I thought, very ignorantly, that it was very boring and just watching people run up and down, up and down. I was like, oh, okay, there's no real pace. Like it's all just high octane, no real like dips and flow to the action. Oh God, I was wrong. That's fair,
especially in the 90s. That feels
in the 90s fair. Especially like it was very
cross court, pounded in the paint, pounded in the post,
grudging. God, it was not appealing to me. So my dad played basketball in college.
Oh.
Oh wow. Yeah. He's 5'10", which meant he was like the mega center of the Philippines.
Same with my dad. My dad was 5'11".
My dad likes to pride himself on the fact that he was the center of his college team.
My dad
when he was 5'10".
My dad is short and was always short, so he was more of a point guard back then.
Yeah, my dad played power forward.
That's so weird.
Can you imagine how pissed off my dad was when he realized this is how tall I was gonna be? Like 5'6". Yeah, 5'6". Like my dad when he came. Actually, when my dad came from the Philippines to America. he stopped playing basketball because work and generally getting married and getting fat. He wasn't going to play basketball.
Was it like right after college or?
So right after he finished with the Army, where he actually played basketball as well when he was with the Army. Nice. Yeah, with him and his Army buddies. So when I was growing up, I was a big football fan. Because during when I was growing up, it was the 90s and the Niners were still great, and that was actually something I inherited from my dad. My dad was a giant Niners fan, and we would always host like Niner games at our place. He'd be drinking and smoking, and then I'd be sitting there away from the action, but still watching the TV. And being amazed at how my mom and my dad actually worshipped like the Niners players of Steve Young and Jerry Rice, and
that's a good era.
It is a very good era to become a fan. So I actually didn't realize that the Warriors existed. Actually, I did have an idea because my dad bought me a banner, like a flag, if you will. But I thought the Warriors were a team like the Washington Generals. Were a team. I didn't think they were real. I thought they were just there for the Globetrotters to stomp on. Like
they were pretty okay for for 40 years.
But like during the 90s, they were horrid. Like
post Weber,
they were bad. Awful. So I had no idea they existed.
Yeah.
But I played basketball as a kid, and I was. Even though I'm not very tall now, I was very tall compared to my classmates. I was always the tallest one out of my classmates, and my mom and dad took that as a sign that I was going to grow to be tall. And my doctor also was a liar, even pediatrician. Took a look at my growth plate.
How dare you, doctor?
How dare you,
How tall did they say
Dr. Kaufman?
Whoa, called out, Dr. Kaufman.
He told me I was going to be at least 6 foot by looking at my wrist, like, growth plates in my wrist. Did you
not drink enough milk?
No, I drank a lot of milk, but I grew the other way instead of.
Wait, what do you mean the other way? Oh,
I got tubby.
You went wide.
So I became a stretch mark 4 when I was a kid. So I always played center as a kid and growing up in my quote unquote basketball career. So I developed a lot of post moves and developed a lot of hook shots. And basketball for me was very fun. I loved playing basketball. I did not like watching it.
So that's how you kind of learned to love the
game. That was my foot in the door. I didn't love the game because my dad like definitely pushed the game on us, but he was very he was a dictator when it came to the basketball thing. He was very like forceful, and he yelled at us a lot. And he was like, "You're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong." I'm like, "Well, how would you know?" And he's like, "I played basketball." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I would
just listen to me. Trust me.
And then my dad got on me for like, "You need to learn how to dribble." I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna be 6 feet, so it doesn't matter." I was a very like combative kid. Like I was very stubborn.
Look at me now, Dad. Never reached 6 feet.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're right.
I feel like we all lived our own love in basketball.
Yeah.
He got game kind of thing. We did.
So
we never amounted. I'm sorry, Denzel Washington.
Never gonna go to what was it, Southern University or something.
Yeah. So, I learned I continued with basketball, but as I got older, everyone got taller. And I started 6th grade at 5'4", and I ended 8th grade at 5'5". Everybody else got taller, and so I went from.
So the Filipino genes kicked in.
Yeah, the Filipino genes definitely made their appearance, and that I started as a 5 when I was in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. Actually, I was a 5 center, starting from 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. And then 7th grade, I went to a power forward. 8th grade, I went to a small forward. And 9th grade, straight guard. It didn't matter which guard.
Man.
But here's the thing. Because I developed all the post moves, I never developed a dribble. So every time, like when I would try out for my high school basketball team, I could only post up. And
but at that point, like the guards were like,
they were like, you should be a guard. You should be doing guard things, not rebounding and boxing out and doing the dirty work. So I never really showed what I can do. And I also got very disillusioned because of the fact that people would give me shit about my lack of handle. I'm like, well, doesn't matter if I'm near the basket, you're not stopping me.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought.
But that'd have been good, like nowadays, if like
well,
you would have like you already learned like those like big moves,
and
then moved to like a more guard mentality. Like if you ended up learning like those skills over time.
You know, to be honest, if I ended up smaller and then it grew tall and then started develop and still had a handle as a tall person, that would be pretty cool. But I didn't
like do the Anthony Davis route.
Yeah, so that pretty much created more distance between me and basketball. But I will say this: I did keep track of basketball during the Lakers' first.
That three-peat?
That first three-peat. Not because of the Lakers, but because of the Kings.
Yes.
The Kings were incredibly fun.
This is something we could connect on.
Yeah.
Those Chris Webber Kings were so much fun.
They were amazing. Chris Webber
Mike
Kings,
Bibby.
Jason Williams, White Chocolate.
Mike Bibby?
Oh, not Mike Bibby.
You're a Mike Bibby guy over White Chocolate?
I was a big fan of White Chocolate.
Yeah, he was fun.
God, he was so fun. He was incredible.
But seriously, that team, like...
That team was... it was Peja.
Oh,
Yeah,
my God, I love
Peja.
Peja. He works for the Kings now.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I remember when he also also was in New Orleans. And,
wow.
Yeah. And every time he made a three, they would like run across like the court sideline with his face. I'm like, oh, that's a little much.
Peja's mad underrated. He's mad underrated right now.
I think he's rated where he should be.
Where?
Huh?
What do you mean?
He was a good player, not a great player. He probably won't be remembered all that much.
I think people generally underrate Peja at this point, though.
I think for what he
Especially
contributed as a shooter, no, he was one of the great shooters. But at the same time, there were better shooters, and there will be better shooters. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. All right, I digress.
Yeah.
I just still didn't watch basketball up until my senior year of high school, when Jay Rich made his appearance. Yeah. When I saw him take part of the dunk contest, I started to pay attention more to the Warriors.
Hell yeah.
And when it really solidified for me, when it took a hold, is when it was during the We Believe Warriors. Mm-hmm. I was a freshman in college when Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, Monte Ellis, that entire crew, Al Harrington.
Yeah, Al Harrington.
When they took on the Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks and beat them 4-2. It was 4-1.
It was a 6-game series.
Oh yeah, 4-2, right?
Yeah. And they caused Dirk to punch a hole in the wall.
Oh yeah, no, did he punch a hole in the wall? He threw
a trash can.
He threw a trash can because I remember that was a little too high. I'm like, Dirk is really tall.
Yeah, it's very high.
But that thing was about 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah, he threw a trash can.
No, more than 10, like 15 feet off the ground.
He threw a trash can in the visiting locker room.
Yeah,
causing a hole.
And they framed it.
Well, like they kept it there, and they put a We Believe shirt above it.
And they also had Dirk sign it, which was great.
Dirk's a good. I love Dirk.
Yeah, Dirk's a great sport.
He totally.
And then when
tore a hole in.
Oh man. I have to tell you this story. I was in one of my friend's dorm apartments, watching the second round against Utah when Barron just destroyed the life of Kirilenko. I got so hyped that I got up, yelled twice, and slammed my hand at the wall. I didn't realize that where I had exactly slammed, there was a thumbtack sticking out, but not one of those flat thumbtacks, but like those ones that were push pins. Those push pin ones. And I slammed my hand against it and put a giant hole in my palm.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, you pulled the Dirk
I was like, yes. Fuck! Oh, Daryl! Yeah!
Like you're both in pain.
I was in a lot of pain. That was
very joyful.
Because then I could see like the big circle where it entered into my palm.
No,
it was bad.
Holes were not supposed to be. No.
And then there was that. And then the next year they won what was it?
48. It was 48,
games,
but
they missed the playoffs. And then 3 to 4 years of garbage, garbage. And I think that's where I became a fan.
It was like
that's when I became a fan. Is that even though the Warriors sucked, and believe me, they were terrible. I still kept track of them. I still watched them, and they were still my team. I'm like, oh, man.
Shout out to you, Beedrins.
Oh, Beedrins. You know the reason why?
The Latvian lefty. Yes.
So he had groin problems.
Groin?
Like he said, he had groin injuries. Like pulled. Come on, let's be honest here.
That dude loved to party.
He loved to party. He also loved unprotected. All right, let's leave it there. I'm probably gonna get in trouble. Can we edit that out?
No, it's there now.
Okay,
it's there in the ether of the memory card.
All right. In any case, he was very disappointing near the end of his career.
I mean, we all thought they paid him.
Yeah, as much as they paid him, we thought that he was going to be like a staple of San Francisco lore of Warrior lore for like a long time.
And then he got scared of shooting free throws.
Yeah.
And
it got to the point where we would try and cheer him on, but instead that would just make things worse.
Yeah. Oh, so bad. I think he made
because it almost felt like we were booing against him.
One year he only made 1 of 13.
Dude, right? I think he was 16% at one point, like for the whole year.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad, but I decided to stick it out, and through the times, I was a big Warrior fan, thick and thin, and I eventually grew to love the game of basketball. Not just by watching my Warriors, but also watching other teams. Like the Spurs were a team that I always kept track of.
I mean, they've been pretty much good all of our lifetimes.
And it was the way they played basketball. It wasn't the fact that I was like a fan of them. I was just, the way they played basketball was so beautiful, and it was full of movement, and it was very free, and it seemed to take away the shackles of what I thought basketball was in the 90s.
Yeah.
So that opened up my mind as to what basketball could possibly be. And now I'm seeing the the best iteration of that form of basketball now with
the game's kind of moved on from just have your best player do things.
Yeah, just
your best 2 or 3 players do things.
To teamwork's pace and space.
Yeah, just ball movement, a lot of get the best shot you can, which is where we are today when we watch now the Warriors and the Spurs just be totally just streets ahead of everyone else.
And that's pretty much where my love of the Warriors and my love of basketball, and basketball league in general, because oh my God, there's a lot of good basketball being played every night. You just have to go and find it.
Oh yeah.
And I still play basketball to this day, as you guys know. Yeah. My love for basketball
every time.
And here's the thing: there's a clear distinction between playing basketball and watching it, because when you play basketball, you find yourself living in the moment, and it becomes more of an activity where it's almost as if you are trying to there's an opponent in front of you, and not only do you want to beat them, but you want to beat them and show them that you are legitimately better than them, because that's what basketball is that because there isn't that many people on the court as other sports. It can be clearly defined that an individual can definitely take over a game.
It's not just offense versus a defense.
Yeah.
It's very much the same people have to play both ends.
Yeah. And when you're watching basketball, it starts to become, you get a much more clearer view of what basketball is in the grand sense, and you see all the scheme movement and back picks and the calling of defensive plays, which you would normally not see when you play pickup basketball, and for me it just started creating a foundation of my love of basketball more and more and more, until this point I'm just all about it. I love basketball. I love the league, and I really, by the way, I'm gonna say this year, in terms of news and in terms of drama, there's a lot going on. This is a great year for basketball. Well, in terms of news cycle,
not so much for you and your favorite team.
not so much for you, but I think the league in general.
The drama, you have your favorite team has drama.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
But look, think about this: the Warriors, not the Warriors, the league is relevant in this time of the calendar year.
Yeah,
the news cycle. Yeah, the Super Bowl's coming up.
We're filming this the day before the Super Bowl.
But on ESPN, they were talking about Warriors Thunder.
Yeah.
That's rare. not a lot of things can break the news cycle of the Super Bowl.
I mean, that helps when you have a team going for history, you know?
Two teams, like the Warriors and Spurs, historically great. And you know what? And all the drama with Blake Griffin punching his friend, which we should get into another time.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Don't know how, but we'll
try. And the constant firing of all these coaches and... Oh my God! LeBron going back home and trying to get one for the land.
I think because like we're Warriors fans, we kind of don't see it as much.
Yeah.
But then like it's just that every other team is just trying to keep up with the Warriors at this point.
Yeah.
So I like where we see just like so much hope and like rings along the way. Every other like fan may just see like inevitability of like, well, it's theirs. Okay.
And that's where we were. Like,
yeah, I mean
that's a bad place, but you know, it's a place that you should always remember as a fan.
Yeah. Not too long ago.
We were there. Oh my God, we were there.
Yeah, like we were never the Spurs. We were never the elite Lakers. We were never like those like historical Heat teams either, you know?
Yeah.
Until now.
We were always on the outside looking in, and now we are in.
That's why I
and his team is out.
Oh, the Lakers are very out. No, but that's why I respect the Warriors so much, is because you can kind of sense that they came out of nowhere, but you can also see the long building process for that team.
A lot of their talent is homegrown, and I appreciate that.
That I've never seen that in recent time.
Also helps that the ownership is legitimately like a good ownership for a team to have.
Yeah, that is true.
Because like you may have like good personnel throughout the front office or the players, but then if
everything starts at the top,
if an ownership isn't willing to pay for what is right and don't know what's right, then it could all fall apart in an instance.
Cohen, you cheap fuck.
Seriously, things turned around when Cohen.
Yeah, when Cohen left, we finally got rid of that.
Yeah.
Prick. All right.
We love basketball.
Yep. All right. So that's basically our stories of why we're here making a basketball podcast, loving what we love. From inherited by our fathers, from lifelong fans to acquired taste to recent fans.
I feel like we really love basketball because we're so short and we can't play basketball.
It's a beautiful game.
Life.
It is a very beautiful game.
It's a beautiful game.
We want to play
the art of improvisation.
Bad. Yeah.
If only we were taller.
If only. Who's your favorite player that's not on your favorite team? I'm just curious.
Like right now?
Right now?
Yeah, right
Durant.
now. Durant for you?
Durant has been like one of like. I've been a big fan of Durant.
I would say the same for Durant.
Durant.
He's been not only a good like a model player, but like a model person in like as somebody to look up to for me. Like he is. Like what wrong has Durant done? Like he's just the nicest person.
I feel like you can say that about like 80%.
Most of the league is like that.
Most of the league is like
it's just that no one is like.
How about the
barely
superstars
anyone is
of
that
the
as
superstars?
good. Yeah.
Even if you think about the superstars.
But then like no one is at that level of like off the court as Durant. Like not like there are a lot of people at that level with Durant like off the court. But being that level on the court is very rare to see.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you think about it, like Bron has never really been in trouble off the court.
Yeah.
Curry hasn't been in trouble off the court.
But then LeBron's been kind of like, I mean, a lot of people still like dislike LeBron also, you know?
Well,
like,
a lot of people still
like
dislike Durant too.
Does anybody
not to
really
the levels
hate?
LeBron's been like.
Well, kind of LeBron also kind of created. Oh, that's another discussion.
Yeah,
we
that's
have
a different
later.
But then you could see like there's been sort of like a lot of backlash towards LeBron, whether or not it's his fault. You know, people dislike LeBron more than they've disliked Durant during.
But we're not talking about like the like or dislike. We're talking about incidences on and off the court.
I know, but I'm talking about just like people like.
Well, why did you bring it there? I never brought it there.
I know, but I'm bringing it there.
Why would you bring it there? Nobody. All right. Okay, let's have this discussion then.
I don't know what.
No, we're not. No,
we're not.
Not right now.
Oh wait, the minute I want to have this discussion, you guys gonna shut me down?
Because
Look how much time we
you
have.
fucking talked for 18 minutes about why you love basketball.
You guys gave me this time.
We split our time together.
I just wanted to bring up why Durant was different than most other players. That's why I brought up especially like versus LeBron. That's why I brought it up.
We'll
That's
talk
the only
about
reason
it
why I
later.
brought it up.
All right, continue with your point.
I don't remember now because you argued with me out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, you changed the subject like right away. It went from character issues right to whether or not the public perception is good or bad.
The louder Mark gets, the closer he gets to the microphone.
That is very true.
It's very hard to edit this podcast.
All right, so
you're sorry if I blow your ears out.
Or my microphone. All right, we'll save that for another discussion.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about why we love basketball.
Yeah. So
we're very passionate, as you can tell.
Introduction to us.
That is why we're making
this is also show. Introduction to us.
Yes.
This arguing.
This is why Mark is a perfect co-host.
Yeah.
Continue.
We're ending it right now.
Hurry up,
Don't
man.
tell us to continue.
I'm a little mad.
Why?
Because... All right.
Okay, go.
All right. Oh my god.
Oh my god. What happened there?
Careful there. All right. Thank you for listening to 3 in the Key with us. I hope you kind of enjoyed why we are doing this thing, this podcast, this blog that we do along with the rest of the Gallant network. And then follow us. We'll try to keep on doing podcasts ever so often, along with other stuff in the Gallant.
Yeah, we do a lot of other shows. We do a lot of other topics, music, and everything. So if you want to give us a follow, go to... Yeah. If you want to go follow, give us a follow, go. Check out thegallant.tv, and you can check us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. There's a lot of social media that we are on, and we just want to connect with you in every way.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. We're on iTunes. You could also catch us on our site. Thank you so much for listening, watching, maybe if you're seeing us on YouTube. And thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are you going to say the thing I told you to say?
Well, we're not really finished yet, are we?
Yeah, we're finishing it up right now.
Okay. Remember, everybody, stay in your lane.
Jesus Christ.
Catch you guys later. Goodbye.